Welcome to Viewpoint. Today in our studios we have a lady who is one of the 3 architects that Bangladesh produced for the first time ever. She has also been involved in local governments in Britain. She went to Japan to obtain a master's degree in architecture, and in mid-career or mid-age she changed her career and joined local government. She has been awarded an MBE for her contributions to the community. Welcome to the show, Mrs. Saheen, Westcobe.
Thank you very much indeed for inviting me.
Our program today is about the constant and perpetual harassment of women, which cuts across race, religion, culture, and language barriers. I know that you have worked on different aspects of this particular topic, but before we go on to that, I would like you to say or explain to our viewers a little bit of your background.
Well, as you said, I'm an architect. I was among the first 3 women to train as an architect in Bangladesh, and that was pre-independence. And I've been living abroad for more than 40 years now. And along with architecture, I have been involved in women's issues. And that was because I think it started with my family. My mother, Anwara Bahar Choudury, was a student of Ruqya Sakhaut Hussain. My aunt Shamsun Nahar Mahmud was Ruqya's protege. My great-grandmother was Ruqya's colleague. So from childhood, I was interested in women's issues, and Ruqya was a great role model and inspiration for me.
Indeed, she's a role model for all the ladies of that region.
Yes, of course. And now I've been trying to spread Ruqya's messages across the globe, because women across the globe are disadvantaged, women across the globe are exploited, women across the globe are second-class citizens.
Considered second-class citizens, they are not.
Well, they are not. Legally they are not, but they are. I mean, it is amazing that only the other day I was reading that in one of the local authorities in this country, the women were getting less salary than their male counterparts. I mean, how is it possible?
It's the same thing in the city, in banks.
Exactly. So it's happening everywhere. So that is discrimination. And I have actually worked with women at grassroots, and I know their plight. I've worked on domestic violence issues, so I know about women. And education, financial independence, they are the key to empower women, and I'm absolutely passionate about women's empowerment.
Well, it would be wrong to say that we have not been influenced and moved by the recent happenings in New Delhi, the gang rape of a girl and then her death. This incident has brought to fame the cause, but it also put to shame the entire civilization, not only just India. See, so where are we going? What do you think? What are the reasons, and how can we solve these things?
Well, there are lots of reasons. First of all, as a woman, I feel angry that women are being treated like that, gang raping, and this poor woman, she lost her life. I feel ashamed that in this century, when we claim that we are civilized, we are educated, I mean, this is happening across the globe, not only in India.
Right.
And how many of these incidents do we get to hear? No, we don't. Because at the end of the day, it's the woman who gets the blame. Sometimes the woman is ashamed, the whole family, the whole community actually rejects them. So, they don't go and report. The authorities are biased, they don't take, the women's problem seriously. They just brush it aside. The woman does not get justice. So there are lots of issues, and sometimes these things start in the home, and we don't get to hear what happens in the home, and then there's violence. So it's not.
That is what is called domestic
violence. And domestic violence, as you said at the beginning, I mean, violence
anybody can be on the receiving end. Children,
absolutely,
daughters, wives,
mothers, daughters, children, anybody. And the work that I did around domestic violence was with two other EU countries, Sweden and Germany, the police and the voluntary sector. And we found that even in rich countries, enlightened countries, we call them Germany, Sweden, domestic violence takes place, and it hasn't got any boundaries. I mean, social status, race, culture, doesn't have any effect. It happens across the board. And one of the things that we were trying to do is to encourage women to report, because a lot of it goes unreported. Number two is...
Is it also in like Scandinavian countries, like people don't report?
People don't report, no. Because a woman at the end of the day, and people don't report, and also the agony of the woman, because the woman might go, first of all, to the police and repeat her story. Then the woman might have to go to the doctor, repeat the story, to the hospital, repeat the story, to social services, repeat the story. So going from agency to agency and repeating the story, which is very, very hard, which is very difficult, which is very sad, which is for the woman, it's torture, repeating the story. So one thing we were trying to do is to have a protocol, which means that the agencies will hear the story only once, and they will, between them, share the information.
Share the details, yes.
And this was actually agreed between the three countries. And also...
agreed, but is it being implemented?
Well, it was supposed to be implemented. I don't know what's happening now, because this project that we did it in 1998, 99, and it was very well received. So I don't know, I haven't been monitoring, I've left local government. And the other thing is to train staff to actually be sympathetic. The woman, after she's been raped, she's been beaten, she goes and washes herself, and there's no evidence.
True.
So the evidence has to be kept. There has to be women officers specially trained to deal with the women sympathetically.
So that the victims feel secure.
Absolutely. So the victim has to feel secure. And society has to accept that it's not the woman's fault, the fact that she's been beaten up. What happens to the perpetrator? The perpetrator gets away. And the perpetrator, wherever, I mean, in the case of the rape, the perpetrators should be punished severely, very severely, so that it doesn't happen again.
They say that we're talking about India because of this case, you see, the conviction rate is 0.01%, see, of rape perpetrators. So where does justice go? I mean, and what conviction? 9 months, 6 months, and then the man is out again, wishing to do the same thing.
You're absolutely right. I mean, the women today are demanding that these guys who have committed the gang rape, I mean, they should be executed. That's their demand.
Yeah.
I mean, life imprisonment, something very, very harsh. And the message is that this is not acceptable. This is barbaric. This is just,
Right. See.
And these people, I was reading the newspaper, I mean, they live in the slum areas of Delhi, but they have jobs, and then there are women around, and they don't do it in their own area, they were saying, the reporter was saying, that they just went out, they drank, they did it for fun, and why? And women should be able to feel safe. This poor girl, she was training, she was a medical, training to be a medical person.
Training to be a physiotherapist.
Yes. And the other thing is, if you
she was accompanied by a male.
So that's what amazes me, that she was not on her own. She was
dressed decently.
And she actually was waiting for a bus, and as the bus wasn't coming, she hitched this lift, because these guys offered her a lift, and she took the lift. And that's when it happened. So they beat the friend as well. So this woman, I mean, you don't even feel safe walking with a male. So, I mean, what security, what guarantees there? So the police force should be retrained, the law should be looked at, and whole society, and also women should be encouraged that if anything happens, go and report.
Well, usually the women would report, see, but where they report and to whom they report is the obstacle, see. Like if they go to a police station, see, and the man sitting there would like her to say the same thing again and again and again. He is getting some sort of pleasure out of it.
Absolutely.
See. There was an incident in Dhaka that a diplomat's wife who had gone to report of an incident very early in the morning in Gulshan police station, she was raped. The point was that she was very scantily dressed. I can't imagine a diplomat's wife going to a police station scantily dressed, you see. But there was, I don't know what happened, how the story developed, who was accused, who was convicted and who was punished, but this happened. I mean, this was in the newspapers. This is unimaginable. And again, this brings to the fact that we should have more women police officers, see. If there was a woman police officer present at that time, probably this would not have, happened, see. And this goes on even, let's say, this incident across the border from India in Pakistan, this girl who was shot at, who was brought to Birmingham for treatment, see. A teenage girl, see. She had not committed crime. They were going to school.
Absolutely.
For the sake of education.
She is amazing.
See, Malala.
Malala, yes.
And she has survived. Well, thank God she has survived. See, tell the story. She is writing. These things happen, and it takes. They hit the headlines. They make nice bites on television screens, but then again, people forget. And this is what has to be tackled. See, that these things are not repeated. And I'm very happy that particularly the young population in India, I think it should go around. This should be a virus. This should be like a viral epidemic that should catch everywhere, particularly young people, that they should stand up and protest. They are not happy with the laws. They are not satisfied with the way they are being implemented, and they want action, and action that is visible, quick. This is an old saying that justice delayed is justice denied.
Absolutely. And the other thing I was thinking that, you know, in Bollywood, they have these films that actually...
They call it masala films. This is recipe for success.
And instead of making those sort of films, they should actually make films that are more educative, where they should highlight that women should be respected and not attacked. In schools, I think that should be the message that the children should be given. Respect your mother, respect your sister, respect anybody who's a woman is your mother or sister or equivalent.
You see, media is supposed to educate, inform, entertain, see. But here, entertainment seems to be the only factor that is considered. The rest goes out of the window, see. So, as you said, see, a laborer, after 8 hours of hard work, when he goes, he spends about 50 rupees, taka, and wants to see something very nice. He doesn't want to listen to the sob stories of poor people, see. He fantasizes. He goes home, and whatever comes in front of him, he tries to
copy.
See?
Yes, but then the fantasy story should be in such a way that the person who does something is punished. So that should be the conclusion in the story. That might help, I don't know. But I'm just thinking that instead of having these, I mean, Bollywood produces a movie a day, kind of, you know, and each movie, you know, is about a fantasy story.
They produce it for, Bollywood probably produces more films than Hollywood, see.
Yes, they do.
And these are supposed to be very successful movies. They bring in a lot of money. But who watches them?
Absolutely. And what are they doing to the community? That's at the end of the day, what are they doing to, they're destroying the community.
Right. Well, in about a minute we will take a break, and then we will talk further about this, and we'll try to think of what causes them and what can be done to improve the situation. See, in the light of your experience here in this country, in the light of the experience that you have had with social services and other organizations that you have been involved with, see, and the community work that you have done, So when we come back after the break, we'll talk in detail about how to stop women being discriminated, how to stop women being harassed, whether in office, in public, or at home. Okay, viewers, we'll take a break now, and when we come back, we'll discuss the same topic but in detail. Don't go away. See you.
আপনারা দেখছেন টকিং পয়েন্ট।